some bad news. I knew it. I love when he does that.
Well, once you hit rock bottom, the only way to go is up. So good luck, okay? Good luck.
You say rock bottom, but, like, it just seems like things keep getting worse. What is rock bottom? Who decides what's the bottom of all this? I mean, seriously, you go, okay, today is Friday, and I woke up in Cleveland, and I'm going, how much worse can it get?
It's all bullshit. Bullshit. And Dave sets himself up for this by suggesting that, oh, Bruce doesn't really dislike me. This is all just to work. But Eric, he's a mean, vile person. He said bad things about me when things have happened to me personally. Name one, muckerfather. Name one. I've made fun of you because you look like a fucking goof. You tongue-wagging fucking bicycle seat sniffing little piece of shit. And yeah, you are a little piece of shit. I don't care what you jack yourself up with. You're a little piece of shit.
Dude.
You want so badly to be recognized as someone who's really important to the industry when, in fact, you're nothing but a fucking parasite who's made $500,000 a year writing about shit that you know nothing about and reporting stuff that half the time isn't true anyway. Mabel is the fucking third man, you douchebag.
Someone asked me once in an interview, what was growing up like? Where'd you go to school and what would you do if you weren't doing this? I'd be driving my first car in a worn-out Dodge, trying to make rent with a dead-end job, just making do. Tips in a jar, my guitar in an old bar stool. I'd have a Friday night crowd in the palm of my hand, couple brown liquor, couple buddies in the band, singing them same damn songs like I am now. I'd be feeling on fire on a hardwood stage, bright lights like lightning running through my veins, at the Grand Ole Opry or showing some no-name town. Still be doing this if I wasn't doing this. I'd still be the same guy they knew back in the day, who was burning CDs just to get away, paying his dues. If I wasn't doing this, 5 deep in a van, a head full of steam, hot on the heels of my neon dreams, maybe coming true. Living this life just like I was born to do. I'd have a Friday night crowd in the palm of my hand, couple brown liquor, couple buddies in a band, singing them same damn songs like I am now. I'd be feeling on fire on a hardwood stage, bright lights like lightning run through my veins, at the Grand Ole Opry or showing some no-name town. Still be doing this if I wouldn't doing this. It ain't about the fame, it ain't about the fortune, it ain't about the name, it ain't about the glory. I guess I'm saying it's always been about having a Friday night crowd in the palm of my hand, cup of brown liquor, couple buddies in the band, singing them same damn songs like I am now. I'd be feeling on fire on a hardwood stage, bright lights like lightning run asked me once in an interview, what was growing up like, where'd you go to school, and what would you do if you weren't doing this?
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 296 of the Hoots Podcast. It's Thursday, February 10th, 2022. It's your boy, Joshie. You can follow me on Twitter at Josh Lopez Media. Make sure to hit me up on Instagram if you like, at Joshie Lopez94, at Josh Lopez Music on Instagram. Please make sure to bookmark ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com as we're talking right now. I appreciate it. That's my main project. That's my baby. That's where you can see all the play-by-play transcripts for all your favorite wrestling shows. We got another good show in store for you. I mean, if you haven't been listening to the Hoots Podcast, I don't know what you have been doing. I mean, is there enough wrestling podcasts out there that do 99% of the show reviewing every single segment from Raw and SmackDown and everything else in between? If this is your first time listening to the show, thank you for giving us a chance. This podcast is more of a relaxed vibe, more of a, I want you to feel like I'm sitting next to you or shooting the shit, talking about wrestling. Let's say like we're having a back porch conversation. I think those are the best type of conversations to have on a platform like this. And we just had some real talk. We talk about wrestling, talk about life, we talk about relationships, we talk about a lot of stuff here on this show. And it's your first time listening or watching the podcast, I appreciate the support. We are 4 episodes away from reaching episode 300. Some of the people here on Facebook, kind of the behind the fourth wall here, I record the Good Brothers Q&A session on Facebook, and then I record the rest of it on GarageBand. So I was telling the people right before I came on that I want episode 300 to be more of a celebration of what we've been able to accomplish with this show, more than, oh my God, I got Nigel McGuinness, I got CM Punk, I got this person on the show. I don't know if I want it to be cluttered with big name guests. I think, yeah, that'd be a cool accomplishment if there's something that I feel like the show will continue on. But I am making an announcement on that show, and I just want it to be more of a celebration and appreciation for what this show's been able to accomplish these last 6 years. And it's more of a thank you to everybody that's been a part of this show and those who listen and support the show for the last 6 years. So again, if you want to send any audio shout outs, you can. It would mean a lot to me. It would mean a lot to Brett Carter. Send those in the MP3 file to the HootsPodcast at gmail.com, and we're going to play all those clips on our 300th episode on March 10th. Literally, we're a month away from episode 300, so I'm going to enjoy this ride, and I want to say thank you for everybody who does take the time to listen to this podcast. I know it's not like every wrestling podcast. You're not going to see me pop a blood vessel over professional wrestling. I want this to be an enjoyable experience for you, and hopefully you gain some life lessons along the way. So all that business stuff is out of the way. Let's start off this bad boy with the Good Brothers Q&A session that we do each and every single week on the Hoots Podcast. If you like to participate in the Good Brothers Q&A session, all you have to do is send me a question to Josh Lopez Media on the Twitter machine. That's right. All right, started off as we usually do with Chris Letta at XTeenSletta24X. He says, what up, Boost? Here's some questions for the Q&A this week. What will be on your menu on Sunday? Woo, man. That's a $1 million question. Answer, I don't even really know yet. I don't even think I'm going to any parties or anything like that Sunday. I'm probably just going to stay here and just chill. The last Super Bowl, which was the Bucks and Chiefs, right? For last year, I got Roots Pizza. It's a popular pizza chain here in Chicago called Roots. It's really good. I don't know if I'm going to do that again this year. The food was good last year, but it's up in the air. I could do a lot of different things. Maybe stuffed pizza would be good. Maybe something else with fried raviolis on the side would be good. I'm open to anything. Just no tacos. I'm not really a big taco guy. I never liked tacos. I don't like meatloaf. I mean, I guess if people say the traditional, oh, I'm going to have wings, potato wedges, and God knows what. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I give myself Popeyes. I don't know. It's up in the air. I don't even know like what time the game is starting on Sunday. That's crazy. Like the only thing I'm like really excited for Sunday is the halftime show because I'm a big fan of hip hop from the '90s when it was actually good and tolerable to listen to. So the fact you got Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar, Mary J. Blige, and Eminem doing it is just pretty freaky cool. So I'm really excited to see the halftime show. But as far as food is concerned, I don't know. Maybe I not get anything. I got no idea. What would you guys get for your Super Bowl deal? Are you guys throwing any parties? Are you gonna do it like? Are you gonna be like me and watch it by yourself, or like what's your plans for the weekend? I'm curious to know that. By the way, speaking of football and stuff, it'll be some grade 8 homogenized Holstein bullshit if Devin Hester is not inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame this year on the first ballot. I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm just going to say it. How you doing? Keep it moving. All right, next question. Super Bowl MVP. All right. Well, this is kind of giving away my pick here, so I'm going to go with Joe Mixon. Nope, psych. I like the suspense there. No, I'm not going with Joe Mixon. I'll go with Joe Burrow. Why not? Let's go on the limb. I think he's going to make the run here, and some of these quarterbacks just get on a heater that you just can't stop, especially during the playoffs. I think Joe Burrow's the guy. I think he gets it done. And the fact that he won a national title and a Super Bowl in a 3-year span is pretty freaking impressive if he pulls this off on Sunday. So my pick for the MVP is Joe Burrow. There you go. And yes, I'm going with the Bengals to beat the Rams in the Super Bowl. Whose performance are you looking forward to the most at halftime? Oh, that's a good one. If I had to do like a power ranking, I'll be honest, I'm not really a big fan of Eminem's Rap God song. I don't know. This doesn't hit with me. I like more of Eminem's older stuff. I'll probably just in my roots, I'll probably go with Dr. Dre because he really does these big time performances, and Dr. Dre is such a legend in the music industry. I don't know how you cannot go with him. I'll go with him, see what Snoop does. But, it's going to be a dope performance. I don't know how long it's going to be. Hopefully they get enough proper time to put on an awesome show. It should be an interesting night for sure. But I think for me, what I'm looking forward to the most with the Super Bowl halftime show is probably Dr. Dre. Should be pretty good. All right. Next question here on the show from Chris. He says, who will be the 6th woman in the chamber match? Good question. I'm going to go on a limb and say Lacey Evans. That'll be my pick. I'll go with Lacey Evans. Will God take the Impact Tag Team titles off of the Good Brothers? Hopefully. I know our show's a namesake after their stuff and the Hoots and all that, but God, the Good Brothers fucking suck now, man. Yeah, I certainly hope so. that God takes the titles off of the Good Brothers. Next question. Which pay-per-view did you enjoy before Mania more? No Way Out or Elimination Chamber? You know what, Chris? I'll say this. I enjoyed No Way Out just for the concept, and one of my favorite matches when I was a kid was Undertaker and Kurt Angle from No Way Out 2006. I was 11 years old at the time, and that was right before WrestleMania 22. Yeah, Kurt Angle and Undertaker. If you have not watched that match, hopefully it's still up there on the Peacock Network. Go look for it. Undertaker, Kurt Angle for the World Heavyweight Championship is a match that I always admired over the years. I don't know why they stopped doing No Way Out pay-per-views, but I actually been to an Elimination Chamber pay-per-view before. I went to one in 2012 with my Uncle Jeremy. We made the voyage to Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the old Bradley Center at the time. And this is all the flux at the time of the John Cena Rock build. And John Cena main evented that pay-per-view against Kane in the ambulance match, I believe. And this is a funny time period because I had bought recently a Cena Sucks shirt. They were selling those at the time. I actually own a John Cena Sucks t-shirt, and I was walking around the arena. I had this shirt on and everything. I even think I brought a Cena Sucks sign. Oh man, yeah, I was one of those anti-John Cena guys back then, believe it or not. Yeah, I had the whole deal. I had John Cena Sucks shirt and the John Cena Sucks sign, and a little kid came with me. He had to be, I don't know, like 9 or 10 years old, comes up to me and really opened my eyes that day. It's like, no, John Cena doesn't suck, you suck. And young man, you're right, I do suck. So that was just a fun memory that I have. I can't believe that was 10 years ago. That was that exact pay-per-view I went to. It was February 19, 2012. I went with my Uncle Jeremy. I remember it vividly because CM Punk was the first match of the show. He defended the WWE title in the Elimination Chamber match. I remember that. So yeah, good memories. I did skip over one question that Chris said earlier. He said, thoughts on Keith Lee. Look, I'll expand more on this, on what the hell is wrong with AEW. All I'm going to say right now is that promotion to the side, I'm happy for Keith that he's back in wrestling and doing what he wants to do. I'm never one of these people that are going to be like, oh, you're a traitor, blah, 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 blah. I'm never like that. I want people to succeed. And I'm in the theory of if you're not happy and you don't want to be in the place, just don't be in it. Be in it. But if you're going to go on your soapboxes and try to play victim and be a miserable, person, and we hear all these reports backstage about low morale and people complaining and stuff. If it's that important to you that you're bothered and you're upset, leave. Nobody's stopping you. You're an independent contractor. Nobody's stopping you. So I'm happy for Keith that he's back in wrestling, doing what he wants to do. By the way, congrats to Keith and Mia Yim on their recent marriage over the weekend. That was pretty cool to see some of the photos there. So congrats to those two. I'm happy for Keith. I enjoy Keith as a wrestler. Seems like a cool person. I watched his 24 special. He's this really cool guy with an interesting story. I think he's a good wrestler for his size. I will say, though, that I was not impressed, and it's nothing to do with my feelings on Keith as a performer or anything like that, or what he could bring to AEW, but it's more the stuff that we talk about here in this podcast about overhyping, overselling, and then how you bring them in, too, at the same time. I'm going to explain more into it when we get to the AEW segment, but I was not impressed last night. I was not impressed with how Jay White came in just in a random backstage segment. I'm going to explain more about that in our segment later on, because it's just, I don't know. I need more time to express my thoughts on how all of that played out. Look, I'm happy for Keith. I'm not one of those people like, oh, I'm not going to support Keith Lee because he's in AEW. I'm a wrestling fan. I cover 7 different promotions every single week. I don't have the time to put my allegiance to one promotion. It's not like that for me. It's how you present people and the message you're sending to your audience. And it's just, there's a lot more than, oh, here's Keith Lee. He's a guy from WWE to AEW. It's much more than that for me. And I want Keith to be successful and hopefully he has an awesome run in AEW. I really wish him nothing but the best. But for me, I was not impressed last night. I just wasn't. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I was not impressed. Let's see. Next question on the show. Page versus Cole. Would you do it at Double or Nothing or All Out? I'll do it at Double or Nothing. I wouldn't do it at Revolution. And another thing we'll talk about in the segment. Let's see. Jay White appears. This is last question of the for Chris this week. He says, Jay White appears. What did you think of it? What do you think it honestly leads to? I found myself saying after the show, boy, that was random. Chris, hold on to your seatbelts. I'll answer that question and what the hell's wrong with AEW, because you're not alone with that sentiment. So thanks, Chris, for the questions as always this week. I appreciate you, my man. Next question for the good brother Nathan Gray. What's going on, my man? Hope you're doing well. Follow him on Twitter at Psycho Nigiri. He says, are you looking forward to Wardlow's face turn? Yes, I am. I am a big advocate of Mr. Mayhem. I actually added the Mr. Mayhem to the wrestling playbook in honor of Wardlow because, basically the Mr. Mayhem is you have to ward her. Wait for it. Low. Don't forget about that, boys. I'm a big fan of Wardlow, and I think he has a bright future ahead of him. And whenever he does have that pop, that's going to be tremendous. And he has that moment and he turns on Edge. That's going to be an awesome moment. And I think he has, again, like I said, he has a bright future ahead of him. So I'm a fan of Wardlow, and I am looking forward to his face turn. That's a good question. How high are you on the Creed brothers? Nate, I appreciate you asking the NXT questions because sometimes I feel like I don't get enough time to talk about NXT 2.0. There's so much stuff, and I don't want you guys to be listening to this podcast for 2.5 or 3 hours, So, how high am I on the Creed brothers? I'm very high for what they do in the ring. I haven't heard much from them from a promo sense, but I guess that's part of the gimmick of them being in Dynamite and Malcolm Bivens basically being their Don King and their talking piece for them. So I like what they do. I mean, go out your way to watch their match that they have with the Grizzly Young Veterans this week on NXT. It was fantastic. They're very good wrestlers. Sometimes I'm not really all into the whole amateur rolling, waistlock takedowns, gazillion grappling different moves, and it's cute and all and impressive, but this is pro wrestling. It's not grappling and stuff. So I like it. I've liked what I've seen so far, and hopefully they'll have time to develop their own personalities down the road. Next question. Would you like to see Dolph Ziggler win the NXT title? He can have a match against Braun Breaker. I just don't think Dolph Ziggler would win an NXT title. I thought he looked good down there. I thought he did a good job in this segment. I have mentioned before it'd be good for guys on Raw or SmackDown who are not doing anything special to have many programs and take trips to NXT. It doesn't hurt your credibility. It's better than sitting on your ass and waiting for a handout and going to stooge your frustrations off to Sean Ross Sapp and all those people in the world. If you're frustrated with your position, go do something about it. Don't fetch to the dirt sheets. Yeah, maybe they'll try to plead your case for sympathy from the Twitter marks and Wrestling Twitter because that's the stuff that they satiate for. But for you as a performer, what are you going to do about it? That's a life lesson I want to share with people. Stop looking for reasons to blame people for the predicaments that you're in. Most times they're not. You're the reason you're in the predicament that you're in. You can blame people. You can vent to other people and complain about the things people are doing to you, or it could be a bunch of things. It could be about work. It could be about relationships. It could be about friends. Most times than not, you put yourself in that position. You got to be protective of the energy and the stuff that you surround yourself with. If you're frustrated with something, if you're frustrated with a job, and you feel like you could try something else in a different place, go out and do it. Stop going to the dirt sheets for sympathy. I don't have respect for that shit. So, like, when I see reports like, oh, people from backstage or in the locker room are not happy, I'm like, you think I'm supposed to have sympathy for that shit? You're making all this money that the fans that, like us, are watching at home, and I'm supposed to feel sorry for you because you don't have the gumption to speak up for yourself and do something about it. You gotta go to Sean Ross Sapp to have the audience feel bad for you. I don't have respect for that. I don't. I'm just being honest with you guys. So I admire Dolph that he's not, this is a guy that's been Intercontinental Champion, a U.S. Champion, a Tag Champion, Money in the Bank, World Champion. The guy has a good resume. Yeah, he's one of those guys that the people in the dirt sheet like, oh, he's buried, Dolph Ziggler, blah, 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 blah. But Dolph Ziggler's a professional. You have the Dolph Ziggler's of the world, and then you have the other people that go to Sean Ross Sapp in the dirt sheets for sympathy. And I'm just going to leave it at that. So I'm happy for Dolph Ziggler. I hope he does a good job. It should be good. Honestly, again, in life, if you're dealing with something that's bothering you, do something about it. Stop looking for reasons to blame other people for the predicaments that you put yourself into. Nobody's going to feel sorry for you. You put yourself in a position, you put yourself out of that position. I can't express that enough. It doesn't matter what the situation is. If it's a friend that done you wrong, but you continue to justify reasons to spend time with them and spend energy on them because you've known them for a long time, what are you doing? I don't get that. All right, next question. Let's see. What is one piece of advice you'll never forget? I'll never forget. I'll go to what my grandpa always told me. You got to be true to your word. It's something I live with me every day. I stay true to my word. I don't allow anybody to speak for me, and I follow through what I say, for better or worse. I follow through with what I say. I follow through with what I want. I go after what I want. And I don't look back and try to justify things that I don't need to justify. I don't have to justify myself to anybody on this world. I don't. I have my love and care for my family. I have my love and care for God. That's all I need. I don't have to justify myself or seek validation for people. I appreciate those who support me and support my work, but I'm not somebody that's going to be a clout chaser. I stay true to my word, and I think it more represents character more than anything. If you don't trust your word, how can anybody trust you? Your word doesn't mean shit if you're a clout chaser. Your word doesn't mean shit if you're doing things just to seek approval from people who don't really care about you. So, for me, the expression of keeping true to your word is something that is one piece of advice that I always cling on to me every single day because it's true. And that's that. All right, last question for the show this week from Nate. Favorite quote from How I Met Your Mother. Well, Nate, I can't give you just one quote. I got to give you a bunch of quotes. I can't just do one. That'd be unfair to what's going on right now. What's up, Ace? How you doing, brother? Thanks for checking out the video here. I appreciate you, my man. Yeah, really quick, before I answer that question, going back to what I said earlier, you have to have the ambition and the wherewithal to actually act upon the things that are bothering you. Stop going to people and bitching about your problems. Do something about it. Honestly, if that's one life lesson that you can get from this week's episode, stop trying to seek out validation from other people. Stop trying to go to other people for sympathy. More times than not, you put yourself in the positions that you put yourself into. And it's on you to get yourself out of that and learn from that experience and don't make the same mistakes again. Stop trying to reach out to other people for validation. I'll leave it at that. All right. Next question. Going back to How I Met Your Mother quotes. Let's start this off with this. It's from Last Forever. This is the scene where Ted and Tracy are getting married. And here we go. It says here. It was at times a long, difficult road, but I'm glad it was a long and difficult. Because if I hadn't gone through hell to get there, the lesson might not have been as clear. You see, kids, right from the moment I met your mom, I knew I had to love this woman as much as I can for as long as I can, and I can never stop loving her, not even for a second. I carried that lesson with me through every stupid fight we ever had, every 5 a.m. Christmas morning, every sleepy Sunday afternoon, through every speed bump, every pang of jealousy or boredom or uncertainty that came our way. I carried that lesson with me, and I carried with me when she got sick. Even then, in what can only be called the worst of times, all I could do was look at her and thank God. Thank every God there is, or ever was, or will be, and the whole universe, and anyone else I could possibly think that I saw that beautiful girl on that train platform. And that I had the guts to stand up, walk over to her, tap her on the shoulder, open my mouth, and speak. That's one of them right there. There's a couple more. Let's see. How about this one here? If you're not scared, then you're not taking a chance. If you're not taking a chance, then what the hell are you doing anyway? Keep going down to here. This is another one here. You can ask the universe for signs all you want, but ultimately we only see what we want to see when we're ready to see it. That's very true. So out there about self-awareness. Think about that. Let's see. Let me find a script here really quick from the show that I can read before we wrap up this segment. Let's hear for the horse's mouth. Here we go. Let Ted tell you. This is my favorite quote for Ted on this show. Okay, 2 of them. This is the first one.
Love doesn't make sense. I mean, you can't logic your way into or out of it. Love is totally nonsensical, but we have to keep doing it, or else we're lost. And love is dead, and humanity should just pack it in, because love is the best thing we do. I know that sounds cheesy, but it's just true. You love Barney, and he loves you. And that doesn't have to make sense to make sense.
That's the first one. Here's the second one.
Ted, listen to me. Robin, that's more than crazy. I don't think there's a word for what that is.
Actually, there is a word for that. It's love. I'm in love with her, okay? If you're looking for the word that means caring about someone beyond all rationality and wanting them to have everything they want, no matter how much it destroys you, it's love. And when you love someone, you don't stop, ever. Even when people roll their eyes or call you crazy, even then, especially then, you don't give up. Because if I could give up, if I could just, take the whole world's advice and move on and find someone else, that wouldn't be love. That would be some other disposable thing that is not worth fighting for. But that is not what this is.
There you go. Some powerful stuff there, guys. On that note, that's the wrap up for this week's edition of the Good Birds Q&A session. I want to thank Chris and Dave for saying some awesome questions this week. Hope you guys enjoyed the rest of the show. When we come back, I'll tell you what happened this week in WWE as we get closer to the road to the Elimination Chamber right here on the Hoots Podcast.
Kevin Owens, despite getting the victory tonight over RK Bro, you were unfortunately
What about my victory over Austin Theory? You didn't mention that one.
in addition to RK Bro, you also, you had 2 victories tonight. However, I was going to get to, unfortunately, you were denied a spot in the Elimination Chamber match, which we were hoping for, which could have ensured you a possible match at WrestleMania. How disappointed are you?
You know, Sarah, I talk a lot, right? People have told me. But I always try to talk from the heart and be genuine. And what I said, when I told Adam and Sonya earlier is the absolute truth. I can't fathom not going to WrestleMania in Dallas, in Texas. I can't. Look, I love Texas. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I'm thinking of buying a house there, moving my family there. I can't get enough of that state. You know, the one thing I didn't even get to mention to Adam and Sonya that means the world to me is, you know, football, Texas football especially. I'm probably the only person from Quebec, the only Quebecois, who actually cares about football, but specifically Texas football. God, I just love the game. I love football. You know, Texas football is just on another level, right?
So you've always had a love for Texas.
Yeah, of course. And their football, high school teams, amazing. College football. And then the pros, forget about it. I can't. I can't not be in Dallas for WrestleMania. I can't.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks.
Welcome back to the program, everybody. Welcome back to the Hoots Podcast, or podcast that Hoots. It's time to talk about what happened this week in WWE. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We had Friday Night SmackDown in lovely, and I mean lovely, oh boy, in Oklahoma. Yes, Oklahoma City, the Paycom Center. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what happened this past Friday night on SmackDown. We had the return of Goldberg confronting the Tribal Chief as their pending match at Elimination Chamber was made confirmed. Let's hear a clip from that segment.
Because Roman Reigns came into the ring at the Royal Rumble and he smashed Brock Lesnar. And at that moment in my life, I understood I don't need to protect Roman Reigns from Brock Lesnar. I needed to protect Brock Lesnar from Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns came to me and he offered me the hand of forgiveness. He offered me the hand of love. He offered me the hand of family. He offered me the hand of the bloodline. Roman Reigns offered me the hand of acknowledgement. And I handed Roman Reigns that WWE Championship. And he smashed Brock Lesnar in the face with it. And because of Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley pinned Brock Lesnar, and Bobby Lashley is your new WWE Heavyweight Champion. Which means you now all have to acknowledge that there will be no title versus title, champion versus champion, winner take all at WrestleMania, because Brock Lesnar does not get what Brock Lesnar wants. Brock Lesnar will do what Roman Reigns wants Brock Lesnar to do. And at WrestleMania, Brock Lesnar will acknowledge the champion, Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns, I acknowledge you. As my next victim. You, me, Elimination Chamber for the Universal Championship. You're next.
Paul Heyman mentioned a lot of things before we got to that part of the segment that you heard here on the podcast. But look, I seen the scuttlebutt. I seen the wrestling Twitter world going on the uproar because Goldberg's back, and I think by now, instead of being surprised or just flabbergasted that Goldberg is fighting Roman Reigns in Saudi Arabia, like, at this point, how many shows have they done in Saudi Arabia? Like, if there's a Saudi Arabia show, there's probably a good chance that Goldberg's going to be in it, and he's going to be in a high-profile match, which you would want for your legend to be showcased like that. I mean, they did pick Goldberg as a legend that the people in Saudi Arabia wanted to see. And if you really think that Goldberg is going to beat Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Goldberg is not going to be. It's not going to be a triple threat match of Roman Reigns, Goldberg, and Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Now, let me add on to that really quick. I am so tired. I've said this on the podcast before. I am so tired of folks trying to force feed triple threat matches in major world title matches at WrestleMania just because they didn't get what they want at the Royal Rumble. This shit has to stop. The whole thing with Daniel Bryan getting inserted at WrestleMania and WrestleMania 30 and the triple threat and all that hoots he had to go through was 8. Let me rephrase that. 8 fucking years ago. Okay? 8 years ago. I thought it was BS last year that he got added to the match with him and Edge at WrestleMania. Not every year you need to force feed some stupid ass triple threat. And I'll put this out to WWE. You want people to take you more seriously? Double down on your decisions. Stop backpedaling. Stop letting Twitter dictate what you do. Regardless of the situation. Even if I don't think it's the right decision for you guys to make. Stop freaking backpedaling and bowing down to fucking Twitter. No, we do not need a triple threat match at WrestleMania. No, we don't need Seth Rollins to be inserted into the match at WrestleMania with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. No, we do not need Sasha Banks to be added to the match with Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey. Well, let's talk about that really quick, because that was the match that was announced also on Friday on SmackDown from OKC. Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey. You go watch their match from Survivor Series in LA a few years ago. You tell me they're not going to do as good or even better job than that match? Why? Because you have it in for Charlotte? Oh, you don't like the fact that Ronda Rousey calls out fickle fans? You don't like that? You don't like the truth? It bothers you? Because you like to be in your high horse and act like the smartest people in the room, and then when the people who actually do wrestle and actually do work in the industry call you out on your bullshit, get bothered by that. You want to cancel them. You want to have them stop being pushed by the promotions they're working for? The truth bothers you? You want to tell me, oh, Sasha Banks should be just in the match. Oh, Sasha Banks would make so much. Make it triple threat. Make it triple threat. Everything has to be a triple threat now for WrestleMania. It's called Triple Threat of Mania now. It's fucking bullshit. No, Sasha Banks does not need to be in that match. If Sasha Banks is that good, she would have won the Royal Rumble match. If Sasha Banks is such that game-changing star that everybody talks about all the time in WWE, wouldn't you think she'd be there right now? Or she's going to be injured again? Or something else is going to come up? Or she's going to throw a fit backstage? I'll go there. Cut the crap. I get it. If you generally are not a fan of Charlotte Flair, cool. More power to you. I'm not going to begrudge you. But I have it out for the people who hate watch shit. I think it's disingenuous to the performers. I see it a lot in wrestling media as well. Don't try to fool it, you guys. There is agendas in wrestling media. I've seen it backstage at WrestleZone. They would do anything they can to, basically go out of their way to pump out articles about Roman Reigns being shoved down people's throat during that time period. I saw it backstage at WrestleZone. Don't try to convince yourself that the dirt sheets don't have agendas and they don't have favorites or people that they dislike. Because that volume of content feeds into the analytics of their sites. I saw it. You don't think they're going to try to find reasons to come up with a random article next week that, oh, those behind the scenes are upset that Charlotte Flair is getting another spot at WrestleMania. Guarantee you that'll be an article posted on the website in the coming weeks heading towards WrestleMania. I guarantee you that. Because that's part of the echo chamber. I got nothing to lose. I'm going to tell you what it is. So, I thought the segment with Charlotte and Ronda was good. Everything I just said to the side. Listen to the crowd. The crowd was into it. They were chanting for Ronda. It was cool to see that. So I'm curious to see how they build this match towards WrestleMania. It should be pretty good. Let's see what else. I gotta say this, just to play devil's advocate and be fair here, as we do with all our segments here in the Who's Podcast. I have not been impressed as far as the match qualities on these shows. I thought the match with Ricochet and Cesaro against Sheamus and Rich Hollis was fine, but these guys keep fighting each other every week. It's not good. I just feel like, for me, that the SmackDown brand is really taking a hit in the overall match quality and depth since the draft. And we got a question about this last week. Yes, I want the brand split to end. I just don't think we're getting interesting matches, and they're just doing the same matches week in and week out. It's not good format. I will give props and credit where credit's due. I thought the match with New Day and Los Lotharios was much better than I thought it was going to be. So props to those guys. I thought that was a good match. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw from Denver this past Monday at the Ball Arena. Let's play a little clip from this quiz bowl that happened on Monday.
Which quarterback has the most wins in Denver Broncos history? Is it A, Peyton Manning, B, Jake Plummer, C, Jay Cutler, or D, John Elway?
You know what? I think I'm going to ask Jennifer for a little bit of help right now involving this question. I'd like you guys to let me know, do you think it's A? Is it B? Is it C? Or is it John freaking Elway? The final answer, Kev, is D. John Elway, please.
We didn't have lifelines. Denver was basically one big lifeline. How is this fair?
Hey, you can't do that. You can't help him. That's against the code. Shut up out there. You're not a part of this.
Oh, man. So, some entertaining sports entertainment right there with RK Bro and the Alpha Academy. I'm sure somebody will be upset about that because there's comedy wrestling. Oh, wait for it. I have to wait for the other show to talk about that. Give me a couple minutes on that. So we had Raw this past Monday night, and I say each week, Chad Gable is one of those guys that I talk about. You had to maximize your TV time, and I thought Chad Gable did that again this past Monday on Raw. Man, that guy gets a good heat. It was good to hear Otis start talking too, so that guy cracks me up, man. That's just a good dude. So that was some fun stuff there. We had a match with the Street Profits and the Alpha Academy. They won that match. It was a pretty long match, actually. But I thought that was fine.
That is correct.
Oh, excuse me. After that, we had Bobby Lashley sending a direct message to Brock Lesnar. Let's hear some of that.
Brock Lesnar earned his match. He will face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania for the Universal Championship main event. He did that. But Brock Lesnar entering the Elimination Chamber and taking the Almighty's WWE Championship to make it a title for title match at WrestleMania? Pure fantasy.
You know, Brock Lesnar disrespected me for the last time. Brock came to Raw last week with his little MMA gloves on, jumping up, all pumped up, trying to demand a rematch. You don't make demands from the Almighty. Brock Lesnar came in saying this and saying that, demanding everything that he never worked for. Brock Lesnar has... When was the last time Brock defended the WWE title? More importantly, when was the last time Brock had a match on Raw? You see, I won't be disrespected. That's why I truly hope that it comes down to me and Brock in that Elimination Chamber, just so that I can pin him once again. You see, because it's not me locked into the chamber with Brock. It's going to be Brock locked in the chamber with me. Shaken at the mere sound of Bobby Lashley. This so-called beast can go and challenge for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania. Meanwhile, I will be defending my title in the main event at WrestleMania.
There you go. Not much else needs to be said there. Some good stuff there from Bobby Lashley. I don't know, man, guys. I think Raw is starting to get a little bit of an edge over SmackDown right now as we get closer to WrestleMania. I think it's like the third or fourth Raw that I have to pick Raw was the better show this week than SmackDown. I mean, look at AJ Styles against Damian Priest. That was a good match. You had the Miz TV segment with Miz and the Mysterios. I thought that was fantastic. Look, I don't know what the Miz is going to do at WrestleMania, but if he's the foil or the way for Dominic to turn on his father, that just shows you how good that guy is as a heel. Put some damn respect on the Miz's name. Go back and watch that segment. Talk about character building and seeing how Dominic carried himself in that segment. That is good business right there. that was one of my favorite parts of the show out of every show this week was that Miss TV segment. It was fantastic. Bianca Belair had a match with Nikki Cross. She got that out of the way. Another match with Austin Theory and Kevin Owens. I thought that was really good. The Becky Lita segment I thought was pretty decent too. You know, Becky wasn't too much condescending, but they have an interesting backstory. Becky did admit that Lita was a role model for her growing up during her teenage years, so I thought that was fine. What else? Liv Morgan's match with Piper Niven, I thought that was pretty good as well. We had another stuff with Alexa Bliss, and then the show closed up with RK Bro taking on Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens ended up winning that match. So overall, really, really solid Raw from Denver, Colorado this past Monday night. Let's go over really quick the match card for the Elimination Chamber coming up on a week from Saturday. We have, obviously, the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber is Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins, Austin Theory, AJ Styles, and Matt Riddle. By the way, shout out to Seth Rollins. He did a great job on Pat McAfee's show from Radio Row in Super Bowl in LA yesterday. That was pretty cool. Second match, Becky Lynch against Lita for the Raw Women's Championship. Roman Reigns against Goldberg for the Universal Championship. Drew McIntyre against Madcap Moss. And then we have another Elimination Chamber match that was announced this past Monday. Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Piper Niven, Nikki Cross, and somebody to be determined. The winner will face Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. So, there you go. Good stuff there. Last thing to do here on this WWE segment, as we usually do, it's time for a preview for NXT UK. By the way, my thoughts go out to the beautiful Blair Davenport. I hate seeing her get injured last week. That whole spiel with her match with Miko Satomura was a very unfortunate incident. I hate seeing Austin wrestlers get injured like that, or any wrestler in general getting injured. You never want to see stuff like that happen. So our thoughts go out to Blair Davenport. I hated seeing that last week, so that was a bummer. I do want to give a shout out to two tag teams. They had a really good match last week. It was Dave Mastiff and Jack Stars against Ashley Smith and Oliver Carter. I thought that was a very good match. Here's the matches for this week's edition of NXT UK, which is dropping today on a Thursday as I'm recording this. We have Amel taking on Nina Samuels. Yes, NXT does need more Nina. We have a brand new edition of the Supernova Sessions with Noam Dar. This week's guest is Jordan Devlin. Also, we have the A-Kid taking on Saxon Huxley. That should be pretty good. And then we have, I think this is the main event for the show this week, Nathan Frazier against Teal, man. That should be fantastic. I think they had a match in the Heritage Cup tournament as well, so this should be a nice return match. Of course, shout out to Andy Shepard and Nigel McGuinness, the best commentary team in WWE. And that should be a fun show to type out tonight. I also found out that this is a good segue for our next segment. I found out that there's going to be another edition of AEW Dark tonight. On that note, that is what happened this week in WWE. Now it's time for what everybody's been waiting for. Another brand new spanking edition, a restaurant quality edition of What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. We're going to start this off with the nefarious Sir Dericho. That's right, Sir Dericho in a 3, 2, 1.
Beat your meat, 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 beat your meat.
It's time for What the Hell is Wrong with AEW?
What the hell is wrong with AEW? Folks, everything is wrong with AEW, especially after this show. Boy, the terrible outweighed the good very, very, very much this week here on Dynamite. So let's get right into it. Let's break it all down. Okay, as usual, we'll talk about the stuff that I liked. And actually, as I'm going through and breaking down the show this week, I'm going to interject just a few things that I like, because there was a couple good things about each segment, but for the most part, it was complete and total utter crap. So here we go. The MJF stuff at the beginning was kind of funny, but I thought it was getting a little bit long at the end. You know, MJF does a celebration and everybody coming out and congratulating him and him doing all this stuff. I actually thought that was kind of funny and I didn't mind it, but it was definitely getting a bit long near the end. So they needed to condense that by about 5 minutes. And then finally, I actually also didn't mind the Inner Circle stuff. Most times when the Inner Circle is on, I'm bored and Jericho needs to go away, as we've articulated many times in the past. But I actually didn't mind it this time. I thought Santana and Ortiz and Sammy Guevara were all great in that promo. Santana especially is also Sammy Guevara. So I actually didn't mind the Inner Circle stuff. I know Josh isn't a huge fan of them, but I actually didn't mind that segment at all this week. I thought it was great. Okay, let's get to the crap. What exactly was the point of the Andrade, El Idolo, Sting, and Darby Allin segment? Why does Andrade all of a sudden get a shot at the TNT title? Oh, wait, this is basically the TV title and rankings don't matter. So why not? You get a title shot. You get a title shot. Everybody gets a title shot. Ay. At least Wardlow isn't fighting jobbers anymore. But then again, what does that say about the Hardy family office? Though I guess they could be considered jobbers. I mean, if you think about Blade and what exactly he's done on AEW television over the last year or so. Oh, wait, absolutely nothing. His contributions have been useless. So, much to nobody's surprise, the Hardy family office has been reduced to being a bunch of jobbers, which is exactly what they are. And we'll continue to get with them and their jobber status here in just a little bit. The Young Bucks are completely useless and continue to be completely useless every week. And unfortunately, Adam Cole is getting there too. And then we see our first of 3 debuts tonight. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, 3 debuts tonight on Dynamite. I don't know much about Jay White, but I've heard very good things. But here's the problem. AEW does not need more talent on their roster. They have too many wrestlers that don't get any decent time or storylines as it is. They come out, they get one major pop, oh my god, and then they're relegated to nothing, to being seen on television once every 3 weeks, and then just kind of wait, they just kind of go off into the sunset after they've gotten their huge major pop. To say that AEW is the greatest company around, except they don't use any of the new talent that they bring in that supposedly is going to, quote-unquote, change the face of wrestling, change the wrestling game. Jay White is one example of this. He's just going to be buried with the elite. And then that leads me to my second debut of the night, or my commentary on the second debut of the night, Keith Lee. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm very happy for Keith Lee. I think he's very talented, and I'm glad he's getting to wrestle again. I thought he got a raw deal in WWE, and WWE did not use him the way that he should have been used. I agree with that completely, and I'm glad that Keith Lee is getting an opportunity to wrestle again. And he looked great. No doubt about it. Very happy for Keith Lee. That's great. But here's the problem. AEW will have no idea how to use him. They won't. He's just going to get lost in the shuffle like the other big men, like Miro or, Jake Hager. Well, Jake Hager's been terrible for the last 2 years, but you get my point. More talent to the roster, and AEW has no idea how to use them. Also, Private Party needs to get away from Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy's career is in the toilet, and Matt Hardy needs to go home and stay home. He sucks. He is absolutely terrible. He might be one of the worst acts in AEW. I will say one thing that's good about this week's show is that we didn't get to see the Acclaimed, and that made me very happy. Or Pockets. We didn't get to see him either, and that made me very happy too. But, God, Private Party, if they want to have any hope of success in this business, they need to get as far away from Matt Hardy and the Hardy family office as possible. Then we get to the tag match with Punk and Moxley and FTR. And for the most part, I actually thought it was a good match. But Aubrey Edwards is completely useless. How did she not catch the Tully Blanchard interference? Like, really? It was so blatantly obvious. And the crowd was going next. How did she not catch that interference. That just once again shows the ineptitude of the referees in AEW. The Tully spot was not good as well. When Punk trying to give him the GTS, that just kind of flopped altogether. And I thought that this match ran a little bit long as well. We had 3 debuts tonight, as I mentioned. Are you telling me that AQA is more deserving of a TBS title match than the other women on the roster? Like, all of these other great talent women, you got Layla Hirsch, you've got Serena Deeb, who's doing her own thing, which I actually fast-forwarded through the Serena Deeb match because I didn't care about it. Red Velvet, Chris Statlander, and those are just a few off the top of my head. But you're telling me that AQA, a debuting AQA, is more deserving of a TBS title match than the other women on the roster? This is basically becoming the women's version of the TV title. And the match with Jade Cargill and AQA was nothing special either. It was fine, but nothing really to write home about either. Serena Deeb comes out and says she's going to commit murder. As I mentioned, I fast-forwarded through her match. I just don't. I mean, I care about Serena Deeb. She's awesome. But when you know you're going to get like a 2-second squash match, I don't care about that at all. I want to see what she can do against some real talent. And then we get to the main event, the Texas Death Match for the AEW World Championship. Of course, Lance Archer bleeds early in the match, and then Paige gets a lot of blood too, because TV-14 and blood sells, pal. I actually didn't mind Dan Lambert clipping the top rope to get rid of the buckshot lariat. I thought that was actually kind of clever, and I didn't mind that at all. That actually made sense. However, overall, this match was a waste of time. I just hate this garbage death match stuff. Like, there's a special place for that, for fans of that stuff that's not on broadcast television. If you want to watch it on CZW or GCW or whatever, fine. You can find your little internet niche and pay for that, and that's fine. But for the majority of people that want to watch this on cable television, I don't care about the blood and death match crap. It just, performers could potentially get hurt, reduce their careers, and for what? For a main event match on a television program that only a few internet marks watch? Really? The only reason I watch AEW Dynamite is because of our segment here. What the hell is wrong with AEW? Otherwise, I would not waste my time with that bullshit. But anyways, we get the garbage death match crap. The buckshot lariat over the back of the referee was actually kind of cool. That was actually kind of clever. I didn't mind that spot. So anyways, they bleed. They put their bodies through a bunch of shit for no reason. And then we finally get, then Adam Cole comes out, and it looks like we're finally getting Adam Cole in the world title picture. Jumping the line in front of everybody else because he's friends with the Elite. Josh texted me this last night, and he made an excellent point. When was the last time we saw Adam Cole in the ring? Oh, wait. He was losing to Orange Cassidy in a beach break match. Yet we're supposed to take him seriously as a championship contender? Oh, wait. We will, because he's an internet darling. And listen, I love Adam Cole, but he's become wasted since he's gotten AEW. He is an internet darling. The fans don't seem to matter because they just want to see their favorite wrestler perform, because that's the kind of marks and that's the kind of storytelling that this wrestling company produces. This was a terrible show top to bottom, and once again, if it wasn't for this segment, I wouldn't watch this crap every week. Seriously, what the hell is wrong with AEW?
This has been What the Hell is Wrong with AEW.
Oh, yeah, brother. Dig it.
Yes. Thank you, Sir Dericho, for your submission this week. I always appreciate you, my man. All right, folks, what the hell is wrong with AEW? AKA, what isn't wrong with AEW? I think I need a swig of water to get through this segment. I always say water's the best. H2O is the best friend of any broadcaster known to man. It's there for you when you need it, for a lot of reasons. But we have a lot to discuss here. And Bret Carter hit on a lot of points there, so I don't want to repeat too much of what he did. I will, to be fair, and we do talk about the stuff we do like on the show, I figured I'd play a clip of something that I did enjoy from Dynamite last night, and here it is.
To arrive to the ring
He hails from the most magical place in the world, Plainview, Long Island, New York. He is the three-time Dynamite Diamond Ring champion, the man who's never been beaten clean in the middle of the ring and is undefeated in AEW, the man who pins shoulders on mats and bangs all the rats, the king of all elite wrestling, the undefeated, undisputed, uncrowned AEW world champion, the past, the present, and the future of professional wrestling, the greatest of all time, the Sprawl God, the salt of the earth, the man who beat PG Punk twice in that dumpster fire known as Chicago in the Midwest. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause to the man who's better than you, and you know it, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF.
Beautiful. 1 minute of a 120-minute shit fest. Oh my god. Okay. Well, let's start off with this. Like Brian Carr said, I liked aspects of the opening segment, and I thought the stuff with MJF going in was good, but I'll explain in this why I thought this segment was a miss. And it has really nothing to do with MJF. It's more of the stuff that went down with CM Punk. And this is how the show went off last week, with MJF and CM Punk winning, MJF being CM Punk in Chicago. I thought the comedy stuff in MJF's promo was fine. That's not my issue. When Punk came on the stage and you have Shivani there, by the way, I'll just say it right now. I have had my fill of Tony Schiavone. He can go the fuck home and stay the fuck home as far as I'm concerned. Get him off the booth for the love of God. Honestly, get him off the booth for good. Let me start off with this. And I hate saying this because I'm a Punk guy, but this is your follow-up for this big match and MJF embarrassed CM Punk in his hometown. He comes out to the stage and yeah, he threatens to attack the Pinnacle with baseball bats with Sting and Darby Allin. But why does Sting and Darby Allin have to be out there? Why does everything with AEW need 15 fucking people involved in it? I wouldn't go out there with, I don't know. I just felt like there was something missing with this. First off, the segment went way too long for what it needed to be. And I think that was the overall theme with last night's episode of Dynamite. That was a turn-off for me. I just saw a lot of things on this show overstayed its welcome. I really do believe that. And this one was right out the case. And I thought it sent the wrong tone here, too. I feel like that this was not how you follow up MJF embarrassing CM Punk in his hometown. I don't care if he's running into the ring with 5 people and by himself. The fact that he had to do this back and forth spiel with him on the microphone, it was a big hit and miss with me. And here's the thing. Revolution is on March 6th. It's February 10th. We haven't had one match announced yet for Revolution outside of the Revolution ladder match, facing the Revolution ladder match at the pay-per-view. You guys know me, I'm a Punk guy, but I call it a spade a spade. And for me, this segment was a miss, and I thought it kind of set the tone for what the rest of the night was going to be. And there was a lot of hype going into this episode. And I know I've been seeing on Twitter, some people are saying this is the best episode of Dynamite since the Grand Slam show at Arthur Ashe Stadium, and I think that's hilarious, but more power to them. For me, this show was a flop for what it needed to be. I didn't feel engaged. I didn't feel like there was some dawning of the new era. I thought it was more of the same. And talking about things that overstayed its welcome. For example, love Wardlow. No reason why a match with him, the Blaze, should be 2 segments. I I'm all for talents getting an opportunity to come in and try to prove themselves and do something cool. Like the girl AQA, her name was Zayda Ramirez in NXT. Unfortunately, she got released by WWE last year due to budget cuts. And I'm happy for her that she got her opportunity on TV. I'm fine with open challenges if that's something you want to do with Jade Cargill. But that match way overstayed its welcome. That too. CM Punk and Jon Moxley against FTR. Let's get into this as well. Match went way too long for an impromptu match with no follow-up as to when CM Punk is getting his rematch. You know, I had 6 paragraphs. I typed out 6 paragraphs for this match. Now, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the match. But I was constantly distracted by one of the worst displays of officiating I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. I honestly thought that maybe Aubrey was actually wearing invisible VR goggles and I just didn't see it. Honestly. The fact that my guy, referee Tony, is sitting at home when he could have done 10 times the job that she did last night is ridiculous to me. That was one of the most brutal displays of officiating I've ever seen in my life. Aubrey Edwards has to be by far the shittiest official in professional wrestling. I'm just calling spade. You mean to tell me that you really did see Tully Blanchard repeatedly smack Punk with the thing? And then again, I keep saying this again. And JR, I love you, JR, man, but stop going with the stuff that Tony Khan feeds into your ear, man. Please stop. Like, the inner circle segment. Here's the thing with our segment this week. I have no more energy left to expend on frustrations with the stuff in the inner circle. So, guess what? Just when you think you're going to get the end of the inner circle, right? We've been building this up. But no! Next week, we're going to have a match with Santana and Ortiz against Chris Jericho and Jake Hager. Who the fuck ever asked for that? We had work consoles. We had team meetings. We had so many different things. This is like the 6th or 7th different iteration of this. Oh, well, will the inner circle split? 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 God, I'm gonna be fucking 80 by the time the inner circle splits. Yeah, was Santana and Ortiz promo good? Yeah. But then again, you got douchebag Guevara. And nobody gives a shit about me Hager back there. And I'm like, cut the fucking cord already. Honestly, that was like 9 minutes that I couldn't get back in my life. End this fucking group and let them go in their main array. I don't give a shit if Chris Jericho fights Eddie Kingston at Revolution. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I love Eddie Kingston. I'm a big fan of his. But I will give 2 fucks if that match happens at the pay-per-view. You know why? Because Chris Jericho needs to be off of television. So, we're going to have this match next week. Because we sell our things with fists. Even though we did 6 or 7 different segments of whether we're going to stay together or not. Let's get that out of the way. But back to the stuff with Punk and Moxley. Yeah, it's cool to see him as a tag team, but again, it's overstaying their welcome. And I felt like nothing on the show grew from the previous week. It was like, oh, here's our show. Yeah, you have our surprises. I talked about Keith Lee earlier. We saw Jay White show up in the background. I'll get to that in a couple of minutes. But again, just my overall takeaway from the show, I felt like nothing advanced. It was a show. You had a hot crowd. And in most cases, I take AEW reactions with their crowds with a grain of salt. I'm just being honest with you. Just because they put it over doesn't mean it was good for me. And I'm speaking only for me. And if you're listening to this and you disagree with what I'm saying, cool. I don't want you to agree with me. You don't have to. I speak for me. You speak for you. You know? And it was kind of frustrating typing out the show because I wanted it to be good. I wanted at least a decent follow-up for what happened last week. But, you know, all this was into having the buzz of, the Forbidden Door and this stupid-ass concept that won't go away, the Forbidden Door. You know, take the Forbidden Door, roll it up in the ball, and shove it up your ass, as far as I'm concerned with the Forbidden Door. I don't give a fuck about that shit anymore. So, here's the thing about, you know, you're bringing in talents and putting them in an interesting position. So, okay, we have Keith Lee come in. Big moment, have for him, like I mentioned earlier. No problem with that. Why was this a miss to me? But because we had the Andrade Hardy family office. Who cares about that group? To the point Matt Hardy walked out a private party during the match. All to lead up to what? Oh, his brother comes to AEW. It was just there for me. And I hate saying that because I'm a Keith Lee guy, but I got the same feeling of seeing Keith Lee on the show as I did when Jay Lethal showed up. I hope I'm proven wrong, but if everybody's saying Keith Lee's the main event star that they claim him to be, hopefully that's the case. And then this one too. This one really bothered me because Jay White's one of my favorite New Japan Pro wrestlers out there. The Switchblade. You guys know me for listening to my podcast, how big a fan of Jay White I am. So, we've been supposedly building up this stuff with Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. Where are they? Why hasn't Red Dragon been on television for the last 3 weeks? So we have this stuff with Adam Cole and the Young Bucks. 1 week, Adam Cole's character in AEW is so fucking bipolar. 1 second he's with the Young Bucks. The next second he's with Red Dragon. The next week on Rampage and Dynamite he says, I'm doing this on my own. I'm a new Adam Cole because I lost the pockets a couple weeks ago. This week he brings in Jay White. Adam Cole is so fucking bipolar in his presentation in AEW. It's beyond me. Does anybody notice that? I'm with the Young Bucks. I'm with Red Dragon now. I'm with Britt Baker the next week. I'm with my girlfriend. I'm by myself the next week because I lost a fucking Outlaw Macho match, a fucking gimmick. A 3-ring circus act trying to pretend to be a wrestler by putting his fucking hands in his pockets. The next week, I'm going to bring somebody from New Japan. The guy's all over the place. All this to get further dissension with Bullet Club. Bullet Club this, Bullet Club that, Bullet Club this, Bullet Club that. Bullet Club was cool 10 years ago. So here comes Jay White to attack Roppongi 3K in the build for a match on Rampage on Friday. It's the Young Bucks against Roppongi Vice. And then this builds up to what? Him and Olivier? Adam Cole against Olivier? And what's in it for Jay White for him to be there? Honestly, what's in it for Jay White to show up in AEW? Because at some point you're going to have 3 levels of this stupid-ass faction that will never end. You got the Jay White GOD contingent. You have the Young Bucks and Olivier. Now you're going to have Adam Cole and Red Dragon. I don't need a 3 prolonged fucking war with... Oh my god. Don't you notice how discombobulated and all over the place this whole scenario is? I'm telling you about 3 potential feuds in 1 separate faction. That's not good. That's just fucking cluttered. Now I'm realizing what WCW was back in the day. What was in it for Jay White to show up there? Yeah, the Forbidden Door. Jay White's there. You really think Jay White gives a fuck about Adam Cole or the Young Bucks? You really think he cares about that? Whatever. I talked about the Jay Cargill match. I thought that was fine, whatever. Let's talk about the match that happened, the match that we had for Rampage on Friday. Young Bucks against Roppongi Vice. Hook would be taking on Blake Lee, who's supposedly the Factory's #1 student. Britt Baker against Robin Renegade, and then the Jungle Express against the Gun Club for the AEW World Tag Team titles. As you guys can tell, this show is wearing me out, so I'm going to wrap this up with this. Hangman Page and Lance Archer, the Texas Death Match for the AEW World Title. I'll tell you this. There were some good spots. You know, that blackout that Archer did into the ring stats on the outside was really gnarly. That was an interesting spot. And then the finish, obviously, Hangman Page doing the buckshot lariat over the referee's back through 2 tables on the floor. I thought that was really good. But, again, like Bret Hart said, useless blood for what? All 3 title defenses that Hangman Page has had since he became the AEW World Champion has had him wearing blood and rocking color. Why? Why? So Hangman Page finally in his position that he belongs. I mean, it took a while for him to be in the main event slot on the TV show, but hey, he's the world champion. He gets the main event of the show finally, right? So they had the match. It is what it is. I'm not into the Outlaw Mud Show crap. You guys know that already. So again, I'll put over the spots I liked. I talked about that, but again, it was just there, just like everything else on this episode. I did not care about it. I knew what the outcome was going to be, so it was just there. And then Adam Cole comes out and just hands Hangman Page the title. Like we're supposed to forget that this dude lost to Orange Cassidy a couple weeks ago on Dynamite. And this is where the double standards set in with the wrestling media and people who do podcasts like this. And this is the truth that you won't hear from other people. There's a high school mentality in how we view things and the outlooks of professional wrestling. You have your cliques, you have your people who are pro AEW, pro WWE, pro New Japan. We all been there. We all went to high school, right? We all know how that environment is, right? So you have this crowd, you have the spectrum of the audience that tells you that wins and losses matter. Right? Wins and losses matter. They should follow through the power rankings. Tell me, how's the guy in the top 5 of power rankings in AEW when you lose a match to Orange Cassidy? I don't care that it was a lights out match and that the match didn't affect the records. I'm supposed to forget that? Like, I'm supposed to forget that Britt Baker lost her match to Thunder Rosa when they had their lights out match and Britt Baker just had a title match the next pay-per-view because, she's the internet darling? At some point, follow through what you're going to say. Either you want to be the company that's about wins and losses, or just admit that you're just doing stuff to appease the Twitter audience. Now, again, if you ask me, would I be down for a Hangman Page Adam Cole feud or Hangman Page Adam Cole world title match? Of course I would. Of course I would be into that. But again, here we are. It's Hangman Page and Adam Cole, and I'm supposed to forget that 2 weeks ago that Adam Cole, one of the big signings that AEW got from WWE, right? This big free agent signing, they got him, and he lost the match to the company's mascot a couple weeks ago. And now I'm supposed to take it seriously as a world title contender. Why? Because he beat Evil Uno on Rampage? So stuff's got to change, man. There needs to be like some checks and balances, people backstage at AEW, because it's just not going to fly along. Not going to fly for long. I mean, yeah, you could add all the people you want from WWE. You could add all the people that will make the people in wrestling Twitter come to their knees and, jizz in their pants and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's just a show. It's just there. It's nothing groundbreaking, and it's definitely nothing that I would consider Dynamite. So on that note, that is what the hell is wrong with AEW this week. All right, folks. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for this very interesting edition of the Hoots Podcast. We are 4 episodes away from reaching episode 300. If you want to send any audio shout-outs and congratulations, all you have to do is send us an MP3 file. It can be as long as you want. Send us to there at TheHootsPodcast@gmail.com. Also, if you can, please bookmark ProWrestlingTranscription.com. If you're an Apple Podcast user, please subscribe to the podcast right now. Leave us a 4 or 5-star review and rating, so it helps expand and reach the show. And Bert Carter and I want to know what you like about the show, stuff that we can improve on. We're always open to honest and fair feedback for the show, and love to get your guys' thoughts. And you can follow Derek, by the way, on Twitter at Derek Stoughton. You can follow me on Twitter at Josh Lopez Media, at Joshie Lopez 94 on Instagram, at Josh Lopez Music for see my guitar covers. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the Super Bowl this weekend. It should be a lot of fun. We'll be here next week to make our predictions for the Elimination Chamber. No, we'll be ready for that. And you know what? After that, we'll get ready for this road to WrestleMania. We're getting close, guys. Now we're getting close to WrestleMania. We're close to episode 300. So I just want to thank all of you for the support for this podcast. It really means a lot to me and Brother Carter. And I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode as much as I did. And right now, we're going to send off for Brother Carter for a brand new edition of the Thoughts of Dericho. But beforehand, I like to say, be the authentic product that is yourself. Remember, nobody dictates the pace of your life but yourself. I love you guys. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl. We'll be back here next week for episode 297 of the Hoots Podcast. I'm Joshie. Here's Brother Carter. Here's this week's edition of the Thoughts of Dericho. I'll talk to you guys next week. Yes, sir.
And now, the Thoughts of Dericho. Listen well, man.
Welcome, welcome, one and all, to the segment that is way more super than any football game that's going to be played this weekend. It is the Thoughts of Dericho, featuring the one, the only, Brother Carter. Well, I just have a few minor comments to spread the wisdom of Sir Dericho and the kingdom of Dericho to share with all of you. And it will be shared, obviously, via the platform of my scribe, the royal scribe of the kingdom of Dericho, in my brother Joshie. But just a few thoughts in the world of WWE, and then we're going to get into the bowl that is super. No, this weekend. So, let's just talk about it. Just a few minor things about this week in WWE, and then we'll get into the Super Bowl. Okay, so starting with SmackDown. Goldberg comes back. Fine. No surprises. He'll get his match at Elimination Chamber. That was supposed to happen at WrestleMania. Or was supposed to happen at some point. I think it was WrestleMania sometime last year, before he got hurt and before Roman stepped away and Braun Strowman came in. But so we're finally going to get the match. Fine. Reigns will beat him inside or at the Elimination Chamber. Fine. Whatever. And then going through the rest of the show, got a lot of squash matches. Looks like we're going to get Sami Zayn's going to take on Shinsuke Nakamura at some point. That'll be fine. Looks like just a lot of squash matches on SmackDown this week, except for there was a longer match with New Day taking on Los Lotharios. Of course, we're going to see Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania, which I think is the match, and that's going to be great. Ronda Rousey is terrific. She's one of the top female superstars in the last 5 years, and I've said this many times. She is a game changer for WWE. Will be great to see her against Charlotte Flair, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. In Raw, going through Raw this week, I didn't have a chance to watch Raw this week, but I wish, in just looking at some of the results and some of the clips, I wish Damian Priest and AJ Styles got more time. But with Styles beating Priest in a non-title match, obviously they'll get some more time later on, and that'll be great because I think Damian Priest is incredible, and of course we all know what AJ Styles can do. And so I think if they had more time, that's going to be great. I think this is going to be absolutely terrific. Dominic Mysterio beats Miz. I like the line, Miz likes the guts of Dominic Mysterio and thinks Dominic is Eddie Guerrero's son. I thought that was kind of funny. And let's see. We were teasing some romance with Dana Brooke and Reggie. Fine. Austin Theory is continuing to impress. And it's becoming clearly apparent that he is one of the heir apparents to the next generation of Raw superstars that Vince sees him. He's getting to work with now with Kevin Owens this week, and he's gotten to work with a lot of top talent over the last little while. Finn Balor and AJ Styles and now Kevin Owens. Great segment with Lita and Becky Lynch. I enjoyed that. So that should be great. And then, of course, we get Seth Rollins versus Riddle. I was hoping they'd get more time. And then we get into a tag match, and Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins beats RK Bro. So there you go. So yeah, so just from the clips I saw, it looks like there was some good programming on the show this week. I'll have some more time to watch SmackDown and Raw this next coming week, so hopefully I'll have more things to say. But getting into the Super Bowl this weekend, I'm really looking forward to the Super Bowl this weekend, as I'm sure most of you are too. You know, on paper, this looks like a complete mismatch because the Rams, to me, I just am not convinced that the Bengals are that good, but they've proven me wrong. They beat the Titans. They beat the Chiefs last week. Of course, the Chiefs kind of imploded on that, but they've proven me wrong. And I just, even though I've said, there's no way, they come back and prove me wrong. However, I think the steam's going to run out. Cooper Kupp's going to have a monster day. I've got the Rams winning the Super Bowl in their home stadium. But again, I just think that eventually the talent's going to outweigh the just the team effort eventually in this one. And I've got the Rams winning, even though what a story for the Bengals. I mean, Joe Burrow is a machine. If they can get one or two more pieces, the Bengals are going to be unstoppable in the next little while. They'll be right up there with Chiefs, Rams, the Bills. They'll be right up there with him competing for Super Bowl championships every single year. But Joe Burrow's a stud. I got to see him when I was living in Louisiana and what he did at LSU. So I'm really looking forward to this game. I think it's going to be an incredible game. But I've got the Rams as your Super Bowl champions. And those are the thoughts of Dericho this week. My final thoughts are, enjoy Super Bowl Sunday. Enjoy a lot of wings and fries and pizza. I just bought a new air fryer and be frying up some fries this weekend. Can't wait. It's going to be a great time.
This has been the Thoughts of Dericho. You're smarter now, man.